cannabis, heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, and barbiturates, and LSD, opium, mushroom, and solvents. I know I can't. I suck at.
It's not common.
So, next. So before, money and poverty have something to do with how drugs affects parenting, because to be a parent, you have financial needs, right? You have to pay for clothes, for food, medicine, school supplies, all that stuff. So this is really important in how it affects a kid. It also affects a kid in another way because bills. If a parent is spending money on drugs, who's going to pay the light bill? Who's going to pay the heat bill? Like there's plenty of things that a child needs, but it's affecting them because the parents is using the money. Especially look at poverty level if you're poor. So, so how much money do drug users spend on drug each week? So between 5 and 6 million Americans spend $100 to $500 every week. So if I have $500, me as a teenager, I will buy clothes.
Yep.
Clothes, go to the movies, go
Go
to
to
eat.
food.
Like, what would you do with $500?
Pay bills, probably.
Yeah.
You would do something important, but between 5 and 6 million Americans spend on drugs.
That's a
Meaning,
lot.
like, in 2 weeks it's 1,000, in 4 weeks it's 2,400. So yeah. In total, hardcore and casual users spend $60 billion a year on drugs in the U.S. I know that's more than what most people make per year
Yeah.
in a job. Crazy, right? Millions. So
Look
like,
at
if they
that.
spend money on the drugs, they will be billionaires. So hardcore user at the poverty level, who knows what poverty means? Poverty means like low income or all that stuff. So poverty levels spend half of their income on drugs. So they're already poor, but they're spending more money that they don't have on drugs. So in New York City alone, $832 million is spent on drugs a year. Wait, hold on. So the closer you are to the source, the cheaper the product is. So example, cocaine is available in Colombia for $1,500 per kilo, but it's sold on the street of America for as much as $66,000 a kilo.
Huh.
So cake. So once a person uses a little bit of drug, they want more. The reason why I use this as a cake example is, William, I would like to read it, or do you want me to read it?
I'll read it.
Let's have someone else.
Oh, she has to read it.
I can read it. When a person is addicted, they often recognize that their addiction is unsatisfying, but continue consuming in hopes that they can obtain the pleasure or satisfaction they associate with the activity. It makes it difficult to stop even when they no longer enjoy it.
So what I mean by this is, say you have a slice of the best cake in the whole world. It's just so moist and good. The frosting is right. It tastes good, right?
Yeah.
But then say you have 10 slices of that. You start to feel sick, you feel fat, you just don't feel right. So this kind of relates to the people who are addicted, because the first time they use drugs, it feels good to them. But they continue to use it to get that first feel that they got. So this kind of relates to money, because when they start, they might spend a little bit of money on drugs, but then they get addicted and they want more, and so they spend more money. Do you guys get what I mean when I say the cake example?
I have that problem
Like you just want to be more, but then you just start feeling good. But you just want to have that first time.
First bite.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So the reason why this guy is on here, because who's seen Matilda?
We're all like, yeah, we know.
Who remember the scene when the little boy had to go in front of the whole school and eat that chocolate cake?
Yum.
First, like, he was like, I got this, I ate the cake, but then the lady came out with the whole cake, and then it just was a disaster. So, yeah. But then, did he get smashed, the glass?
Yeah, he I think he smashed it over his head, and like at the end.
Well, the principal
Oh no,
did.
yeah, she smashed it over at the end, he was like, yeah.
because he
And then he
finished
fell
it.
down.
But it's not as good as it was the first time. So, next slide. So, health and safety. So, Lori Moriarty, I'm going to have to read her story. She is a cop in Colorado who has a lot of experience with drugs, specifically meth. So, she said she recalled entering home where a 3-year-old child had taken over feeding his 1-year-old brother. The parents were too high to notice his hunger. So the older child resorted to feeding him baby brother a bottle of chocolate syrup. Food he thought was appropriate for an infant because it was in a bottle. So like, do you guys get what that means? So like he's only 3 years old, but his parents is too high to even notice the fact that a 1-year-old baby is hungry. So as a 3-year-old, you don't think much. You just thought, oh, it's in a bottle. I'm gonna give it to my brother. But no, it's an infant, so infant can't really digest solid food like that. So parents who use drugs are 4 times more likely to neglect their kid and 2 times more likely to abuse their kids. 80% of child abuse cases involve substance abuse. So related to that is when a child have an addicted parent, they are more likely to have a higher rate of eating disorder, depression, anxiety, and suicide. And then they can also be diagnosed with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if that name's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So likelihood for kids to use drugs. Kids with addicted parents are more likely to do drugs. Like, they see their parents doing it, so they do it. It goes on and on. And easy access. What I mean by easy access is when their parents are getting high and stuff, they don't really notice of what they do with their stuff that they've used to get high, so they might misplace things, or the kid might just sneak in a room and just take whatever their parents are using. It's just easy access to do it. Or their parents might give them drugs or something like that. And coping. What I mean by coping is that it's so stressful for them that they tend to do drugs themselves to get over that feel of depression. You know? So like they do drugs to as a reality escape. So this is a video of a lady who works at my community center, GTLC, and she talks about her experience with drugs and how her stuff. If anybody is like very sensitive, go ahead and step out.